your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles, to be specific. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Agree to Disagree here on the TNAM radio network, because the news always matters. At thenewamericanmedia.com. My name's Brian Engelman. I am your host, as I have been for the past 3.5 years. Yep, it's been going on for that long. We've had a bunch of really fantastic shows over the years, and over the past few months especially. I want you to check all of those out. So please go to our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com, because the old American media has failed us. We all know that. We can go by propaganda anywhere. We're trying to find some other stuff and explore regular stories from different perspectives if we can. When we can, how we can. But check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. On the bottom right, it has our Facebook and Twitter feed. So on Facebook, you could search on your own for The New American Media, put spaces in between, and like the page. On Twitter, we're at American_media_. And please subscribe to youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. I just feel like it hasn't even been that long since we were at 50,000 video views over there, then 100,000, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350. Things are starting to snowball exponentially. But so definitely subscribe, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. A lot of good stuff. Check out all of our shows, some of the music stuff, some of the spiritual stuff, some of the economic stuff, some of the sports stuff, some of the political stuff. Maybe there's something in there for you. So I want to talk about this. I mean, there's so much going on in the world right now. Oh, that's so cliche, Brian. Yeah, I know. Fine. It's cliche. Okay. I got it. It's cliche. Fine. But aside from the fact that it's cliche, I mean, it doesn't make it... What is it? It doesn't make it untrue because it's not now I'm on like a quadruple negative. Fine. There's a ton of stuff going on this planet. What's going on with these missing planes? That's what I want to ask you about. These missing planes. 11 of them from Libya. How many days? Today's September 5th to the 11th. So we have 6 days before... I don't know. What's the fascination with September 11th? Well, let's just say it is what it is. And it's a reality, and it's something to consider. Now, geez, we just had an unresponsive flight go all the way down to... Where was this now? This was... there was an unresponsive flight out of New York that went down... supposed to go to Florida and ended up going past, crashing in Jamaica. I mean, another unresponsive flight. You know, you scramble the F-15 jets. I think it's F-15. Sorry, I'm not a plane guy. Don't have the article in front of me. But, you scramble the jets. How about that? No, not Rex Ryan and the New York Jets. Jeez. So you scramble the jets and, unresponsive. Maybe the people inside are passed out. Okay. Of course, the missing Malaysian airliner just disappeared. 2014, the NSA is tracking all of your sexting, all of your Facebook messages, all of your emails, all of your telephone calls. They're creeps. They gotta know everything about you, your GPS location. What time do you go to work? Where do you travel? When do you do something that breaks your normal routine so we can put extra scrutiny on you? Seriously, a bunch of freaking creeps at the NSA. Spying on everything you're doing. But we lose an airplane. No, that passes the smell test. Right. That passes the smell test. No, it doesn't. Not at all. Does not pass the smell test with me. Not buying it. And then you have another Malaysian airliner that's shot down in Ukraine. Was that the same flight? Are they two different flights? Was the flight that disappeared, is that going to be strapped with nuclear materials and rammed into a U.S. city somewhere? What's going on with ISIS at the southern border? We can't even... Seriously, I say this all the time, but you're telling me I have to take off my damn shoes at an airport. Well, because my stinky feet are going to take down an aircraft? You got to be out of your mind. Sir, you can't take that water on here. You're watching me drink it. It's not lighter fluid. No fluid. Uh-huh. Now go through this radiation backscatter machine. No, I'm going to opt out. Put your gloves on, touch me. Yeah, I'd rather be touched than go through your weird technology. I'm cool. I'd like to save whatever sperm count I have left. Thank you very much. And for the love of God, if you're working one of those machines, why not just find another job? Oh, it's safe. Yeah, those things have been in operation so long. You know there's a great track record to prove that they're safe. Nah, I don't want to be a guinea pig. No thanks. Pat me down. But I got to get patted down. I got to... I'm a big Cleveland sports fan. And no surprise to anybody that regularly listens to our programs over here. But Indians, Cavs, Browns, Buckeyes, all that stuff. And I do a sports show called The Unhappy Hour. Unhappy because we've never celebrated a championship with the Indians, Cavs, or Browns in my 35 years of existence on this planet. That being said, there's something in Cleveland called Stadium Mustard. Now, there's a lot of stadiums and a lot of mustard, but there's something special about our mustard. It's different. There's ballpark mustard and there's stadium mustard, and they're both really darn near equally awesome. And you just can't really find it everywhere. So I try to get some when I get some, when I get the opportunity to get some. Flying through the airport, I get stopped. Sir, you can't bring this with you. What? Yeah, they did like the special thing. Oh, we're going to have to check your bag again. Can you stand over here, sir? Uh-huh. So you can't bring this. What? Mustard? You know that's mustard, right? Yep, you can't bring it. It's not mustard gas. It's mustard. Yep, you can't bring it. Like, do you want me to eat some? It's in a cellophane wrapped. It has the vacuum seal, like the you pull off of the top of the... What do you think I'm going to do? Put mustard on crackers or throw mustard at the pilot? Like, you idiots. What the hell's wrong with you? Now, I'm saying all these things because it makes absolutely zero sense to me that our southern border is wide freaking open. How many thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of illegals have streamed across our southern border? Well, we're at war. We're at war with terror. Gotta go get them terrorists. Gotta go get them. We're at war with terror. It's a thing. Find them everywhere. No. What we have here is... No, Obama doesn't say terrorism. He just calls them extremists, and he doesn't explain the problem. It's very weird. It's almost like he sides with the... Anyway, I digress. We're supposedly at war with people that want to kill us and bring down our buildings and blow up as much as they can and kill as many as they can and decapitate as many as they can and shoot in the head or bury alive or cut their heads off and stick them on pikes, sticks, and fence posts, burn people alive. Like, we want to do... There are people that want to do every bad thing in the world. So we're losing our civil liberties. You got all these spy cameras on freeways now, illegal search checkpoints, and it's not legal to just pull you over. It's a random checkpoint. We have a Fourth Amendment against that crap. You identify a target, you go after the target, and you go after the target. You don't just... And that's what the NSA is doing. Just, oh yeah, metadata. It's no problem. Yes, it's a problem. I don't want any of my info in the hands of any creeps. See what happened with all these Hollywood celebrities with their naked pictures taken? Yeah, you saw it. And by the way, I'm as much as some of these are just... Jennifer Lawrence? Come on now. Come on. Now, I'm not going to say I'm not curious to see what these pictures look like. Seriously, Jennifer Lawrence is... She's a cutie. Jennifer, if you ever want to have dinner when you're out here in L.A., look me up. But I don't want to look at those pictures. If it was something put out there in a movie, put out there in a magazine, a Playboy or something, that's one thing. But that really is intrusive. And that's the point. You don't want the NSA to have access to your pictures. It's bad enough. It's bad enough that the iCloud has access to your information. It's bad enough that Google knows everything that you're searching on your computer. It's bad enough for Facebook to know all of the algorithms connecting all the family circles and all the friends and all the networks and the GPS coordinate. Like, it's just creepy to be under that type of surveillance. And don't tell, oh no, nobody can access horse crap. Some clown can go pull up naked pictures. And that's the point. These people sent pictures, the Jennifer Lawrences, and the other people that have had their iCloud accounts hacked and nude pictures released. You know, I mean, that's an invasion of privacy, and I don't want to participate in that. I waited days before I even shared the story because I didn't want people going to find the link. And eventually I just, all right, this is news. I'm going to cover this. I'm going to tweet this out. I'll put this on Facebook. It's something that happened. But once again, that's why you don't trust technology. Look, I've been saying this for a long time, and if you go to thenewamericanmedia.com, we have a 1984 watch segment. Okay? 1984 watch. We need a 1984 watch, I don't know, czar? For humor, let's call him a czar. Someone needs to be in charge of making sure that our technology is not used against us, that there are not back doors written into all of these programs and all the software so that everything can be spied on. That's garbage. It's like letting a select group of creeps have master keys to your apartment. Oh, we'll never use it. Then why the hell do you have it? No, we're good. Can we just keep peeping on you through the window now? No! You know, that's how things are headed. And don't just think of Jennifer Lawrence's... No, I won't go there. Don't think of beautiful Hollywood celebrities and the chance to see them naked and say that's the story. The story is that your data is very, very, very hackable. And this stuff can be used against you. No, not in a court of law necessarily. I'm talking about blackmail. I'm talking about bribery. Have you ever done anything you regret? Anything you wouldn't like to broadcast on a radio show? Anything you wouldn't like to tell your mom and dad about? Anything that your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife, you just wouldn't really... Even if it wasn't bad, it certainly looks bad, and you don't want to put stuff like that out there. Have you ever thought that maybe you could get caught doing something, I don't know, like maybe a congressman or, ooh, I got one. How about a Supreme Court justice? Maybe a John Roberts. I'm just, hypothetically, I'm spitballing here. No, I'm not going to literally spitball. Just in case Jennifer Lawrence is listening, I'm not going to do that. Let's just say maybe a Supreme Court justice like John Roberts maybe did some things that were, I don't know, a little bit less than reputable, a little bit less than honorable, a little bit embarrassing, or maybe criminal. Maybe he was set up. You know, you hear those CIA stories in the Cold War all the time of, you know, they sent in the most gorgeous prostitute in Russia to try to corrupt one of the ambassadors so that a couple pictures could get taken so that you could have that information to show back to them and say, do you really want me to ruin your family? Well, look, I just need you to vote on this one thing this one time, and that's it. But if you don't, we're going to ruin your life. Oh, Obamacare passed. Yeah, there was one vote that decided it. John Roberts, by all accounts, he changed his mind at the last minute. Why? Now, why would he change his mind? Now, I'm not saying I could see John Roberts taking naked selfies like Anthony Weiner. I mean, come on, Anthony Weiner? That's his name, and he's taking naked... I mean, it's so absurd. It's so absurd. You'd think, no, there's no way that could... Oh, that's a real story? Like, if I didn't know who Anthony Weiner was, and I heard, whoa, some representative named Weiner gets thrown out of office or resigns in a huge scandal after taking naked pictures of his wiener and sending him around online. Yeah, I would think that would be something out of The Onion, not that it was real life. So I don't know. Is it possible that elected officials or Supreme Court justices or business executives or Hollywood celebrities... Now maybe, you know what, here's the thing. Maybe there were some other Hollywood celebrities that also had their information hacked, but they paid the ransom, the bribe. I'm assuming, and I'm putting out there, that it's possible that whoever did this went to fill in the name of your favorite Hollywood celebrity and said, I have these pictures of you, and you can wire me $47,000.15. What a stupid number. No, but who knows? Maybe there are some celebrities that actually paid and said, "Listen, I'll pay it. I don't want that getting out there. That'd be embarrassing. I just don't want for whatever reason. I mean, I don't know. I mean, unless you're gonna pose naked somewhere or do a video that all right, well, people are gonna watch it. If you're not gonna do that, then maybe you really don't want it. Maybe that's part of what this hack was all about. But that's where our nation is right now. That's the extreme severity of where we're at. All of your information, everything that makes you uniquely you, all of your friends and family, your contacts, your whereabouts, your preferences, your credit card purchases, your web browsing history, every damn thing about you is under surveillance, violating our Fourth Amendment rights. Yeah, oh yeah, you click the button, terms and conditions, okay. I'm not agreeing to be spied on by the NSA, by the CIA, by Google, by Apple, by Microsoft, by anybody. Well, you're agreeing to use this service. I mean, well, there is no privacy. It's a post-privacy. Hold on a second. We have a Fourth Amendment here. You got to have reasonable cause. I just... Actually, you know what? I'm going to tell you about this one. And we're working to get this guy back on the program because we really want to talk about ISIS, we want to talk about the southern border, and we want to talk about 9/11 in Syria. Absolutely have to do it. Ben Swan, he's been a guest on our program a few times. Excuse me, interviewed him at the United We Stand Festival in Los Angeles a few months ago. Big fan of his. But yeah, I pulled it up here, and I believe I tweeted it or sent it out on Facebook. Seriously, that's why you got to follow us on Twitter, American_media_, like our Facebook page, because I did send this out. And sometimes I put it on my website, sometimes it just goes on Facebook, sometimes it's just on Twitter. That's why you got to kind of like link up with us and set your notifications so you get... Heavy metal fan, this is on benswan.com, which is why I brought it up. This is from today. Heavy metal fan arrested for posting Exodus lyrics on Facebook. Police arrested 31-year-old heavy metal fan James Evans on terroristic threatening charges after he made a Facebook post quoting lyrics by the band Exodus. So, yeah. Yeah. Who's what? You just... Part of this stuff is crazyville. You have our president out there, we don't have a strategy on dealing with ISIS. I'm sorry, what? And Biden, we'll follow him to the gates of hell. I'm sorry, what? What we need to do is reduce ISIS, those guys, to a manageable level. What's a manageable level of crazy evil? How about zero? It's you can't have a, there's a light switch. It's not a dimmer, it's a switch. It's on or off. You put it in the middle, all you hear are little sparks. You can't waffle on this crap. No, but I want to tell you about this story. WFIE 14 News is reporting that 31-year-old James Evans of Muhlenberg County, Kentucky, was arrested on terroristic threatening charges after he posted lyrics from a song by heavy metal band Exodus on Facebook. On August 24th, Evans posted the following quote from the song, Class Dismissed, a hate primer. Quote, student bodies lying dead in the halls, a blood-spattered treatise of hate. Treatise of hate. Class dismissed is my hypothesis. Gunfire ends in debate. End quote. Shortly thereafter, he was taken into custody by authorities under the rationale that his posting constituted a threat, quote, to kill students and or staff at school, end quote, according to his arrest warrant. Now he's required to undergo a mental evaluation. It's unclear exactly which school that officials believe the 31-year-old was targeting with his verbatim posting of heavy metal lyrics online, but Muhlenberg County School Resource Officer Mike Drake claimed that multiple government agencies received warnings about the Facebook status. Quote, this is Ashlyn Evans, James Evans' sister. Quote, whenever we found out that he actually got arrested for lyrics, we were all shocked. We couldn't believe that you could do that or get in trouble for that. I don't personally agree with the band or the music, but I agree that you should have the choice to listen to it if you want to. After his release, James Evans said, quote, it's nonsense. I feel like my civil rights have been violated. You know, First Amendment, freedom of speech out the window. Even all the guys I was in the cell with thought they was nonsense themselves. I had several officials tell me it was nonsense. There was no reason why I should have even been there. End quote. An avid heavy metal fan, Evans frequently posted various song lyrics on Facebook prior to his arrest. And it continues and continues and continues and continues. I'm going to just tweet that one out again in case I only put it on Facebook before. So yeah, there you go. So yes, everything you're doing and you got the thought police, you know? Everything you're thinking and doing is being put out there, and it can all be used against you. And that's the point. You save all this data and you can build any story you want. You know, these no-knock raids, throwing flashbang grenades into baby cribs, burning their face off. Yeah, that just happened recently. Sure, it's happened before, and it'll probably happen again. In a war on drugs. You know, if you're not out there Al Caponing and shooting up street corners, you know, let's not worry about war on... How about a war on beer? People are getting drunk. No, beer's legal. Why is beer legal? Because it was lobbied to be legal. Why is weed illegal? Because it's always been. No, it hasn't always been. Man, I should really have the facts in front of me, but I really didn't know where I was going with the show when I started, but it was like No, I gotta look it up. I owe you that. Marijuana illegal since when? Let's see if that works. 1931. Let's see here. Legal history of cannabis. Legal history of cannabis in the United States, according to Wikipedia, relates to the regulation of marijuana use for medical or recreational purposes in the United States. Regulations and restrictions on the sale of cannabis sativa as a drug began as early as 1619. Increased restrictions and labeling of cannabis as being a poison began in many states from 1906 onward, and outright prohibitions began in the 1920s. By the mid-30s, cannabis was regulated as a drug in every state, including 35 states that adopted the Uniform State Narcotic Drug Act. In the 1970s, many places in the United States started to abolish state laws and other regulations that banned possession or sale of cannabis. All this conflict with federal laws, cannabis being a Schedule I drug, according to the Controlled Substance Act in 1970, which classified cannabis as having a potential for abuse, no medical use, or not safe to use without medical supervision, Yeah, and it just kind of goes on and on. 1936, Geneva trafficking, 52, efforts to decriminalize from the 70s on. It hasn't always been this way. It just hasn't. And it's stupid. Alcohol, I've been a bartender most of my, well, let's just say, I've worked in food service most of my adult life. Hell, my first job was at 14 in a Greek restaurant, washing dishes, then bussing tables. I'm kind of aware of what alcohol can do. I know weed can kind of make you lazy and, get the munchies, and you still shouldn't be driving, but it's not. I've seen way more fights and way more car crashes and way more alcohol poisoning issues. Marijuana poisoning issue? I mean, unless it's bad stuff that's laced with something, that's like opening a bottle of gin, throwing some, hell, I talked about Andrew Breitbart earlier, putting some arsenic in there, or some other chemical that could make you sick. I mean, that's contamination. That's not from the drug itself. Point being, everything we're doing is being regulated. Everything we're doing could be used against you later. You build up this case. Everything you do, everything's stored in a database somewhere. If you turn out to be, I don't know, a squeaky wheel, maybe they do attempt to I don't know, arrest you for posting Exodus lyrics. Now, I'm not an Exodus fan, and I am a heavy metal fan. Don't you get me wrong on that. I'm a heavy metal fan. Now, okay, is it hard rock? Is it heavy metal? I don't, you know. What is Slipknot? What do you call that? Man, they do some good stuff. Corey Taylor, really talented musician. Does some good acoustic stuff, too. Seen him playing acoustic with Aaron Lewis from Stained. Really good stuff. But if you become a squeaky wheel, you could be blackmailed. Whether it's a Hollywood hack, whether it's... And I don't mean a Hollywood hack like a bad actor or actress, I mean, or some sleazy agent. If your data was hacked, and then you're blackmailed, or things that you say can and will be used against you in the court of Facebook because you posted a heavy metal... it doesn't make sense. You know, but there's a danger with people having too much of your information available. You know, you don't want to post pictures, oh, having a great time on vacation, I'm gone until Sunday. Or, you know, and then you're like, advertising, my house is wide open for anybody that knows where you're at. Like, you don't want to do that. But if someone doesn't like you, they can build a case against you. You know, all these little drug laws, all the drug raids, seriously? You got gangs flooding our southern border, kidnapping and killing and child trafficking. For what? For money. How do they get it? From drugs. So, seriously, let's just sell that crap at 7-Eleven, next to the beer, show your ID. Yes, even, yeah, you need to show ID and have ID and not be here illegally. I've traveled to Canada. I've been to Cancun. I've been to Cayman Islands. I've been to Mexico twice. Once to party in Cancun, once to go to Chichen Itza and see the ruins. I respect other cultures, and, you know, you kind of do as they do when you go there. It's really disrespectful to just jump into someone else's house and tell them how to live their house, how to run their household. You know, all this illegal stuff. Just immigrate legally. Become a part of the team. Don't just break into the Cleveland Browns locker room and say, oh, now I want you to run it. I don't want you speaking this language of offensive playbook. I want you to speak my language. Huh? Well, give me an option where I can press 7 and hear my language. I want my playbook in this. Who are you? You're not even a member of the 53-man roster. 52, 53? I don't know. I digress. But that southern border is wide open. I'm just going to keep calling them ISIS. If they want to be called IS, then I'll absolutely not call them IS. Call them whatever they don't want to be called. So ISIL or ISIS. Decapitating American journalists. Now, there is a lot of debate raging in the circles I run with. Was this video staged? Was it re-uploaded from another account? Was it... Who discovered the video? Was it a CIA asset? Was it all staged? Was that a crash test dummy? Why did the video cut away and not show you all of it, and then it just finally cuts to the end scene? Something where you could theoretically get a mold of somebody made in a Hollywood studio, shipped over, and then it's a prop. I don't know. That's beyond weird, isn't it? No, you're crazy. You saw him get beat. No, I didn't watch it. All my friends that have watched it says it cuts away at the part where you would expect to see something, like the Saddam video, or, oh, nope, there he is. Now he's hanging. We got Bin Laden. Bin Laden is dead and GM is alive. Where's Bin Laden? Well, we threw him away. Don't worry about it. We got him. We got him. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll buy that. While we're at it, a few days away from September 11th, listen to a Coast to Coast AM show. Richard Gage and Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. I think their website's ae911truth.org. Man, if I recall correctly. Me and my darn research. ae911truth.org. Yeah, that's it. ae911truth.org. I actually attended a seminar for these guys at the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles. Maybe it was a year ago. And I was thinking I might have some extra footage of that. I might post that on the YouTube channel this month. Maybe as soon as possible. But I mean, the point of all of this is that there are legitimate things we should be worried about. Ferguson, the police state. I'm not talking about an unarmed black teen. I don't know the story. Why was a gun discharged inside of the vehicle if that's what happened? Why did the officer have his orbital socket blow out if that's what happened? Why was this guy walking in the middle of the road if that's what happened? Why was he stealing and strong-arming from a convenience store if that's what happened? Why did he attack the officer through the window if that's what happened? Why did he run away? Did he put his hands up? Did he turn around? If he didn't turn around, why haven't the 3 autopsies shown that the bullets went in through the back? I don't think we've seen that. The evidence does not prove that he was executed facing the opposite direction. I don't know the details on Ferguson. But you know what I do know? I do know that a lot of opportunists drove in, walked in, flew in at wherever from other places so that they could loot and rob and cause some crap. Which is garbage. You should stand up and call for a full investigation, and fine, bring Eric Holder in. And if you're going to trust Eric Holder, I got a bridge to sell you. That guy is an extreme ideologue in the Obama camp of divide, divide, divide. Eric Holder being involved in Fast and Furious. Eric Holder on tape talking about needing to brainwash people against guns. Sorry, we got Second Amendment, buddy. As much as we're allowed to say whatever we want, we got the right to carry whatever we want. Now stay away from it, you creep. You know, we have a right to get answers in that, but we don't have a right to get violent. And what was the response? I mean, it was like a war zone. It was a war zone. Essentially, it was a military takeover of the town. Curfews? We don't need no stinking curfews. You know, police state. These are dry runs. These are test runs. How far can you get pushed? We're going to have illegal checkpoints on the side of the road. You got to take your shoes off at the airport, but yeah, we'll just let tens of thousands of unaccompanied minors flood our country. Now, when that's happening, when these minors are, and I'm not talking about people digging rocks and working in mountainsides, I'm talking about little kids. You can't even stop little kids. If they go left and everybody from the border has to go that direction to find them, what's going the opposite direction? What's going right? What else is being snuck over there? What, do we have dirty bombs? Is ISIS already here? Is this administration allowing it to happen? Is this a false flag? Is there another 9/11 coming on the way so that they can further ramp up the police state? You know, these are the things I think about. And these are things that I will cover, and it's the stuff that I do tweet out. It's the stuff that I do send out on the Facebook page. It's stuff that we do talk about on our radio shows. And these are all relevant, important conversations. For example, if you want to hear some more about ISIS, check out the show we just did last week with John B. Wells, formerly at Coast to Coast AM, now with caravan2midnight.com. Yeah, we talked for like over 2 hours, 20 minutes or something like that last week, covering ISIS and covering the southern border. And I mean, we covered, I mean, what can you cover in 2.5 hours? A lot. Check out that show. You can also check out on our home. Where the heck did I put that one? Actually, that's on our YouTube as well. It would be Blake Wally interviewing Dan Johnson of Panda, People Against NDAA. Dan was down in Ferguson, and we got an interview with him a couple weeks ago. Listen to that one. So I'm saying there's so much good content. Just take a look. Some of this stuff it's just as relevant now as it was when we recorded it. But all these important things going on. I want to talk about this story. You know, a couple weeks ago we talked about Robin Williams. You know, it's just well, of course. I mean, why wouldn't we? The answer is because there's serious crap going on. Journalists being beheaded, our southern borders wide open, false flag attacks are abounding, 11 planes are missing from Libya. Could they show up and be turned up later? Okay, yeah, that was the whole point of my intro. That was the longest. How the heck long was that intro? There was a couple of moments. What's it showing here? Maybe that intro was about... hell if I know. But I do want to cover this Joan Rivers death. This is from Fox News. The clinic where Joan Rivers underwent a throat procedure last week is under fire from the comedian's fans and under investigation by the New York Department of Health. Quote, the State Department of Health is investigating the matter. Okay. a rep for the Department of Health told Fox 411. I don't know. Man, this is a horribly written article. Here, let me tell you what it says. It says, quote, "The State Department of Health is investigating the matter," end quote. A rep for the Department of Health told Fox 411 told us. Yeah, that's a typo. Quote, "It's a full investigation of the matter." You just said investigating the matter. It's a stupid article. But anyway, as part of the investigation, Department of Health officials have been on site at Yorkville endoscopy? Lord almighty. It's moments like this I need a producer. The clinic Rivers was visiting when she went into cardiac arrest on August 28th. The review being conducted will include interviews with the physicians and the staff there. TMZ reports the clinic has hired additional security after receiving death threats from Rivers fans. Quote, "If Joan dies, so will you. I hope you people die. You killed an icon." Rivers, 81, was rushed away from the clinic at 2... I don't need the address here. That's stupid. Rushed away from the clinic when she stopped breathing during a throat procedure. She was then on life support, and her daughter said she died on Thursday. So, I mean, this was supposed to be a relatively minor procedure. A relatively common, run-of-the-mill, no big deal, kind of not that risky thing. I guess anytime you have any procedure, you could have anything happen. And she was 81. I totally get that. But here's what it has me thinking about. I did a show a couple of months ago. I guess it would have been right around 4th of July. That's when this was published. I want you to listen to Joan Rivers. You know, and I've never been a Joan Rivers fan. I don't necessarily dislike her. I don't necessarily like her. Whatever. You know, kind of like Exodus. I've probably heard it a few times. Never really got into it. No big deal. Joan Rivers, I know she does stuff, but I don't know. I don't care. You know, I don't need to pretend that I'm such a big Joan Rivers fan. Robin Williams, oh, come on. Go back and watch Aladdin. Oh, he's just a cartoon in that. He's hilarious. Such a great movie. Is a perfect role for him to be a schizophrenic, bipolar genie. It's perfect. Perfect. Good Will Hunting. Oh my God. I mean, I have a psychology degree. I could definitely understand the role that he was playing there. It's you know, a world I spent a lot of time researching and studying and volunteering in, and I mean, Robin Williams playing the tortured psychiatrist. Psychologist or psychiatrist? Doctor. To Matt Damon. I mean, what a great role. So I was a fan of him. Not so much of Joan Rivers, but I do recall a few months ago her saying this. And what I want you to paint the picture here. She's being walked in. She's going up into the stairs of some building, whatever. And this guy with the camera, "Hey, Joan." Her response. I've watched a lot of comedians. I never used to go on stage as a comic, necessarily. A lot as a singer in my rock band and stuff. Not necessarily as a comic, but I mean, I did work at a place called Easy Street where they had open mic night, and it was comedy nights, and I'd work the door, and you know, we've had comedians at places I've bartended, other places, a place in Long Beach, and I've been to comedy shows. Just saw Joe Rogan a couple weeks ago. Point is, I do watch Comedy Central specials. I'm a big connoisseur of comedy, you could say. And you kind of know when somebody's joking with you and maybe when they're not. And just the weird delivery. You know, check the video off yourself. This is Joan Rivers. I just want to play this for you because when I heard that she went into a coma following a routine procedure, I immediately thought of this.
Miss Rivers, how are you? You made a ton of news officiating the wedding in New York yesterday. Is this like a new cottage career move for you?
I am so excited.
Okay.
And I should do very well because I don't charge.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay. She does this.
And then she walks in. So, she's a tranny. But it's so matter of fact.
So, let's just calm down.
First, the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh.
We all know.
It's okay.
It's okay.
She does this.
And that was one of the weird parts as well. It's okay. It was, we all know. It was very matter of fact. One last time.
Woman
we
president.
already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay. She does this.
It's okay. Now, what was the question? Will the nation see its first gay president or woman president? Something like that?
Excited.
Okay.
And I should do very well because I don't charge.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman
we
president?
already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay.
We all know. It's okay. I'm posting this on I'm just gonna say, remember this one? Question mark. And I bring that up because it reminded me of this. Right around the time the National Defense Authorization Act was, air quote, passed into law, it's completely illegal. Section 1021, 1022 saying you can be illegally detained without charge indefinitely for the duration of a conflict because the United States is now a battle zone fighting terror. Terror. Completely violating everything that's sacred. You want to get bad guys, give them a judge, figure out what happened. You don't just make people disappear. Well, the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, passed by President Barack Obama illegally, and it's, I don't know, I'd like to say there's no debate on it, but it just goes against our Bill of Rights, so therefore it doesn't exist. It's not a thing, except that it is a thing. And right around the time that this was passed, that would theoretically allow the president to disappear people that he didn't like, there was a guy who had some stuff to say about the president. This was back in 2000, what was it, the 2011? Yeah, I guess 2011 for the 2012 elections. This guy had some stuff to say right before he mysteriously died. Just want to play this for you, see if you can remember this.
Now, in Barack Obama. Well, I've got videos, by the way. This election, we're going to vet him. I've got videos. This election, we're going to vet him.
Saying we're finally going to vet Barack Obama because he kind of became president and you didn't really know much about him. What was he like in college? What were his transcripts? What's his background? Who did he pal around with? You just didn't have a lot of information on the guy. And now this is Andrew Breitbart saying, oh, we're going to vet him this time. I got videos.
From his college days to show you why racial division and class warfare are central to what Hope and Change was sold in 2008. The videos are going to come out. the narrative is going to come out that Barack Obama met a bunch of silver ponytails back in the 1980s, like Bill and Bernadine Dorn, who, equally radical, said one day we're going to have the presidency, and the rest of us slept while they plotted and they plotted and they plotted, and they oversaw hundreds of millions of dollars in the Annenberg Challenge, and they had real money from real capitalists. Barack Obama is a radical. We should not be afraid to say that. And that is who's in the White House, and that's who's outside right now telling you you don't have a right to be here, and who would squelch your free speech just as easily they do at Harvard, Vassar, Yale, Wesleyan. They're a bunch of totalitarian freaks. They tried to defeat the Tea Party, and when they failed, they wanted their Tea Party. And what did they create? They created the Occupy movement. These are the same exact people that organized Camp Casey at Crawford. That was Occupy Crawford. These are the same exact people that went down the highway at the exact time at the end of the summer when Katrina happened. That was Occupy New Orleans. It's the same radicals. They've been in your life since Senator Obama became part of your vocabulary. They are at war with you. Take that what you will. And this is my thesis, that the anti-war movement was never about anti-war. It was a Saul Alinsky community organizing tool to get Barack Obama and the left elected. That the Republican Party and the conservative movement is not what ABC and CBS puts on the screen. They try to portray you in the worst possible light. And when I walk through CPAC, or I travel the United States to meet people in the Tea Party who care, black, white, gay, and straight, anyone that's willing to stand next to me to fight the progressive left, I will be in that bunker. And if you're not in that bunker because you're not satisfied with this candidate, more than shame on you, you're on the other side.
So there's been a lot of speculation, and I've said it before, referring to, was Joan Rivers Breitbarted? He claims to have these videos that are going to really just expose the president for who he is and what he was and where he came from in college. He dies, mysterious heart attack. People put hits out on everyone all the time. To think the governments haven't been assassinating people since the beginning of governments, you got another thing coming. Hell, how many assassination attempts were made on U.S. presidents? From Kennedy, Reagan, Bush Sr., Lincoln. We can go on and on. I'd actually need to look up presidents that have been assassinated. There's some kind of obscure ones that I'm not exactly sure about. But, what happened when Edward Snowden came out and told the truth? Whoo-hoo! That we're all being spied on. And thank God he did. Thank God for Edward Snowden doing that. Because we have a Fourth Amendment and it means something. I know there are good people working at the NSA that are legitimately trying to protect and defend the welfare of this entire country. Some of those great people, I'm afraid, are being used. We have protections in this country from government doing certain things. Spying on us is one of them. Now, that being said, I just read a book called Digital Fortress by Dan Brown. It's about the NSA. Go figure. I've had that book for quite a few years. Glad I finally took a read in it. And long story short, the plot is that somebody, the NSA got wrapped up in a scandal trying to install a backdoor on everything. And they were called out by the EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation. One of the great, I'm not really familiar with their group, but I've heard them and I know what they're about, and at least on paper they're fantastic. Protecting digital privacy, personal privacy, all that stuff. And so in order to combat this new machine called Translator, that the NSA has assembled to just break every single code. And it's important to break codes if you're trying to shut down terrorists or foreign armies, and there are a lot of bad people that want to do a lot of bad things. I get that, but that doesn't mean you need to read my Facebook post about Exodus and arrest me. It doesn't mean you need to build up a case for blackmail against me. It doesn't mean that you need to know where I'm at all times, the GPS locations, and that you can listen to my cell phone when it's not even being used. You can look it through my camera. What was that thing? I think it was Pennsylvania, where students were given laptops to take home and do homework with, and they sent police to somebody's house because it looked like someone might have been dealing or doing drugs in their bedroom. How did they know? They were logging into those laptops and looking at them in their room. Now let's put the pedophilia stuff aside for just a second, Jerry Sandusky. Just a second. Your cameras are watching you. That can happen. If you're not aware that it can happen, I mean, you don't need to believe me. Just do some research. Just do some research. That's fine. But anyway, in the Dan Brown story, this former NSA employee who hated all these constitutional violations was suspected to have written a code that's an unbreakable algorithm that the NSA you could encrypt messages and they wouldn't be able to snoop on you. So the whole story is about getting that code before it gets into the wrong hands. Really good cat and mouse book, just like most of Dan Brown's are. I recommend I've read a lot of his stuff. Deception Point. Yeah. Deception Point. Obviously, Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, The Lost Symbol. All that stuff. But this concept of a group having all of your information is really creepy. And what would happen if you were in charge and you passed a law that said, you know, for the good of the country, I can just make people disappear? This president has actually, let me just let's see if I can find this quote. It looks like I have it here. 134. I just want the short version of it. Well, here's one, because this is really funny.
The Jonas brothers are here. They're out there somewhere. Sasha and Malia are huge fans, but boys don't get any ideas. I have two words for you: predator drones. You will never see it coming. You think I'm joking?
Okay. I mean, it's kind of a funny joke. Kind of. But this is the one I was looking for. Let's see if this is... What is this? This is, I don't know if there's video on it. This is Abby Martin, trying to scroll through this in real time. I had a chance to interview Abby Martin at the United We Stand Festival as well. Oh, here, we'll let Abby explain it to you. It's in the first 20 seconds. It's not a video. I wish there was a video of this. But here we go.
You know, the last thing I ever expected to come out of a Nobel Peace Prize winner's mouth is this: I'm really good at killing people. Yes, folks, according to a new book, Double Down, our beloved president, constitutional lawyer, Nobel laureate Barack Obama apparently loves to brag about how well he can execute human beings with drones. Now, I know you're thinking it's probably the Republicans making him say such things, because, you know, he can't look weak on defense. But shockingly, no, it's all the credit of Barrio. See, during the 2012 election, journalists Mark Halperin and John Heilemann were reporting on Obama's campaign. And it was during this time that the drone king reportedly boasted to his aides about his kills. Since becoming manager of the U.S. empire, Obama's rapidly increased the use of drones abroad. And his hundreds and hundreds of strikes have put Bush's measly 52 drone attacks to shame. See, thousands of dead women, men, and children don't lie. They also can't speak or defend themselves in any way. Now, for those of you who are still not offended at the president's disregard for human life and think this is just the way politics works and that every president has blood on their hands, let me remind you of this. One of the chief architects of the drone program, John Bellinger, said that the reason why Obama has ramped up the use of these killer robots is to avoid the bad press of Guantanamo Bay. So you know what? I'll give it to him. He is really good at killing people. Because if there's one thing voters hope for when electing him, it was expedited murder.
So that's Abby Martin of Russia Today, or RT. Seriously, I had a really good chat with Abby, and I need to bring her back on the program and do a full episode, a full sit-down with her. She's one of the best out there. Her, Ben Swan.
The last...
Thank you. Her, Ben Swan. There's just some really great names out there doing really good news. But I wanted you to hear those because he's joking about killing the Jonas Brothers with drones. You think I'm joking? Let me be clear. By clear, I mean lots of words and not really saying much. Sometimes he does say much. You got to listen to those things that he does say. My grandfather was a man of few words. And when he spoke, people got quiet and they listened. But you all know somebody in your family that talks all the time and you don't listen. So he's joking about killing the Jonas Brothers. According to that book, he's really good at killing people. I'm telling you that because Andrew Breitbart, Michael Hastings. Michael Hastings was the reporter that had some information and he felt like he was being tracked by the government and that he didn't want to drive his own car. He was worried, and turns out in my backyard a few miles away he just decides one day to drive 150 miles an hour into a tree and kill himself. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, and a lot of the eyewitness reports report primary and secondary explosions and the engine going the opposite direction of what would be likely to happen if you hit a tree. And the tree wasn't demolished, the car was. It seems like a bomb was planted there, and the vehicle was controlled remotely. You can't control a car remotely, Brian. Just like you can't access your private information through the iCloud. Well, that's a cloud. Can you control planes and override their systems? I don't think so. Yes, you can. Well, not you. You probably can't. But they can. It's just something to think about. Michael Hastings, Andrew Breitbart, Joan Rivers. One more time, because she passed away. I found this really weird when it happened. Like I said, a comedian to say something, a little risque or, whoa, where'd that come from? It's the way she said it. And I'll just play it for you one more time.
Miss Rivers, how are you? You made a ton of news officiating the wedding in New York yesterday. Is this like a new cottage career move for you?
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I should do very well because I don't charge.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see?
See, okay, here's why it's weird to me. This guy's, I don't know, maybe a gay rights activist, who knows? Is this a career move for you? She's like, oh, I'm so happy, and I know I'll do well. Ask if she goes into this is a career move. She goes, and I know I'll do well because I don't charge. And she had like that smirk on her face, that comedian, that comedic, telling a joke here. See, because I don't charge. That made sense. The following part, she's not joking or smirking.
Career move for you?
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I should do very well because I don't charge.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
See, and now she's shaking her head and walking away. Like we already have this with Obama, so just calm down. And now she turns her back and she's walking away. She's not smirking at this point. She just turns her head and walks away.
You know, Michelle, is a tranny.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
You know that Michelle is a tranny. And she turns around and takes a few more steps.
Transgender. We all...
And you can hear how she... Transgender. We all know it's no big deal.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay.
It's okay. So anyway, I could not help but be aware of what happened there. I could not help but think of that. When I heard that Joan Rivers passed away. So, make up your own mind. Am I saying that that's what happened? No, I'm not. Nope. Nope. I mean, how I don't have access to any, I don't have any information that you don't. I don't know that something happened, but what if? What if a very vain president in the middle, well, toward the 75% of the way through a failed presidency, grasping at straws, people hate the one thing that his name's attached to with Obamacare. And I'll tell you, when he told me, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor, period. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan in all 57 states, period. You know, I lost my plan. Average family, you guys will save $2,500 a year. No, I'm paying $1,200 more a year. And then I lost my doctor. Eventually that plan picked up my doctor. I was able to go see her recently for just a routine checkup or whatever. But no, this happened to me. I know for a fact that his main legislation is lousy stuff. People don't like it. And if you're very vain and you love, like you've become addicted on power and you love killing people, I mean, is it so far-fetched to think that maybe you're a puppet that could be controlled in any way you want because they have dirt on you? What if there was truth to Barack Obama being bisexual or homosexual? The story, you've heard stories, and I don't make claims or accusations on this stuff because that would just be ridiculous. I have absolutely no idea. How many times have you heard Bathhouse Barry? How many times have you heard about the cloudy and murky history of Barack Hussein Obama? Barry Soetoro, guy who's gone by multiple names. Tell me, how many people in your life do you know that have gone by multiple names? All right, no big deal. Or is it? Maybe not. Reggie Love. Who the heck's Reggie Love? He's the body man. What's a body man? Oh, he hangs out with Obama. What the heck does that even mean? You know, and I avoid these things because it's so bizarre. And it's like Joan Rivers says, it's okay. Well, I don't know if a fraud perpetrated on the American people, pretending to be something you're not, I don't know if that's, you know, but seriously, it would be hard for me to care less than I do about what people do in the privacy of their getting it on areas. I don't care. I just don't. I don't have time for that. I'm as, I can't say I'm as libertarian as they come. Because I know Mark Clare with Lions of Liberty. Because I know real libertarians, the Ron Pauls, not the Rand Paul. I still don't know what to make of Rand. I would roll the dice and hope that he would make a good president, but I have reservations about that man. But I have a lot of libertarian leanings. Fiscally conservative, socially libertarian, pro-capitalist. Not crony capitalist or fascist. That's where I am. I'm kind of in there. You know, I don't really care what people do. But it was just so weird when you saw Joan Rivers, the way she said it. She was smirking at the parts she was joking on. And she was just kind of beside herself. Like, really? You don't know? Everybody knows. And it's no big deal. It's okay. I mean, I don't know. What do you make of that? Just Joan Rivers being a sassy bitch? saying mean, snide remarks. Yeah, she's kind of known for that. I get it. Brian, you're calling the president. No, I'm not saying it. I've heard lots and lots and lots of stories. Stories that I don't tell you about. Just a lot of hearsay and rumors and speculation and smears. I get that. But, that being said, I just found it weird. While all these really important news stories were going on, I just wondered, did Rivers get Breitbarted? You can't say Hastings, because that's just tough to say. But does this president like killing people that rub him the wrong way? I don't know. I mean, it's not like the administration would go after their political opponents with the IRS. It's not like an attorney general who wants to brainwash people against guns would run American guns to drug lords in northern Mexico so that they can kill U.S. Border Patrol agents, so that they can track the serial numbers and then say, oh, it was the guns that did it. We need to regulate guns. We need to pull these AR-15s off the streets. Disarm us while we Ferguson the rest of you. Well, maybe I am saying some of that. So, tell me what you think. Do you agree or disagree? See, that's tricky. I'm not going to make a statement because I'm not saying that that's exactly what happened. So I'm not saying that Obama killed Joan Rivers. Okay, get that straight. That's just there's no proof for that. There's no data to support a claim like that. So I can't put that out there and say Obama killed Rivers. Agree or disagree? Because I'm not saying I agree with that. I mean, I guess, because that wouldn't be my quote. President Obama killed Joan Rivers. Agree or disagree? I mean, maybe I will just title it that. It's kind of provocative for a title. But I mean, do you see any dots that could connect here between him bragging about killing people, being good at killing people, the suspicious situations with Michael Hastings, the fact that Abby Martin is saying that the president prefers killing people with drones so that the PR doesn't look as bad as it does having people actually in Guantanamo Bay instead of just dead out of sight, out of mind. Guantanamo, oh crap. Now how do we explain this one away? Is it easier to kill Michael Hastings before he releases information? Is it easier to kill Andrew Breitbart before he releases information? Is it easy to kill Joan Rivers just because you don't like her? Or you don't like her because she actually hit way too close to home? I don't know. But I am curious what you think. I really am. Leave your comments. And check out the rest of the shows that we have at the New American Media, please. Because we do have a lot more stuff over there for you. Once again, that's at thenewamericanmedia.com. Please make sure that you check it out. Bottom right of the page, Facebook link. Like the page. If you do a search on Facebook for The New American Media, you can do that. Link up with us on Facebook and join the conversation there. We want your comments as news breaks. On Twitter, we're at American_media_. And YouTube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. So special thanks to Rob Troutman from Sports on Tap. You can follow him at SOT Podcast, being my guest on the sports segment of my program on The Unhappy Hour. Thank you very much, Rob. And it's already been a hell of a year, and it's going to be another crazy couple of months. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love you. I wish you the best. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.